Hello, I'm DeDe. In this 30-minute yoga session, we'll do many poses that call for core stabilization, core strength, and core endurance. A stronger and more stable core means we can be stronger in just about everything that we do. Here's what you'll need. A yoga mat if you're on a hard surface floor like I am. A folded towel, some water for hydration. You may want to remove your shoes and socks. Make sure you have lots of space. And remember to always move at your own perfect, mindful pace. So that means skipping something if you need to, going slower if you need to, finding an alternative if I don't give you one that works for you. All right, so let's come down into a lying on our back or supine position to start. Come down in a way that works for you. Maybe you drop down on one knee, maybe you just sit straight down like I did. Now you may need your folded towel under your head for some support. If your neck doesn't feel comfortable when you lie totally flat, then fold your towel under your head. And then we'll lie back slowly onto our elbows first, and then recline all the way down from there. Now you can do this with your knees bent. I'm going to show it that way today. Your toes turned in, your feet apart, and your knees leaning against each other. If you know that you feel comfortable with your legs straight, or if you prefer this way, go ahead and go with your legs straight. Make sure that your legs are comfortable, your back is comfortable, your neck is comfortable, no matter how you've positioned yourself. Now one more thing, wrap your hands around your side ribs. So your right hand is against your left side ribs and vice versa. And then you'll close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that, bringing your head and neck back to neutral center. Now let's breathe in and out through our nose. We have our hands around our side ribs because we're going to try to expand the ribs as much as possible out into our hands on the inhales, and then feel the ribs shrink back down to their original size on the exhales. We want to keep the elastic properties of this tissue that's amongst our ribs, this intercostal tissue. We want to keep it supple for as long as possible, so we can always grab a deep breath whenever we need one. So try to create that expansion on your inhales, and that will help keep things supple and limber amongst our ribs. Make sure that you're not overly tensing any part of your body. Try to relax. So hopefully you feel a little bit more calm, a little more centered, a little more grounded now. So let's take our hands from around our side ribs now and bring them down to our sides. If your legs are straight, go ahead and bend your knees. And if your feet are apart, go ahead and bring them back to hip joint distance apart. Let's inhale. And on the exhale, press the feet down and lift the pelvis up, trying to find neutral with the spine. Inhale, coming down, and when you're ready to exhale, pressing up again. Now let's add some arms. So we'll inhale The arms come straight out, and on the exhale, press the pelvis up. Now inhale, wrap your arms around you like you're giving yourself a hug. And then exhale, open the arms up and press the pelvis up. Let's do it again. The other arm is on top this time, closer to your chin. Inhale and hug the arms around. And then exhale and press your pelvis up. Try not to look to the side the whole time, especially when your hips are elevated. That puts a lot of strain on our neck, a lot of strain that we don't need. Just keeping your head in the center. Inhale and hug. Exhale, bridge. One more time. All right, and then we'll lower the hips down and we'll take the arms a little closer into the sides. Now let's separate the feet a little wider than the shoulders, about mat width distance if you're on a mat. And then we'll take the arms out to the sides. We're going to leave them out there this time. Take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, your knees go one way and your head turns to the opposite direction. And then come back to center and inhale, go the other way for the exhale. So we're warming up, paying special attention to the muscles of our core, since we're going to be focusing on those muscles today. It's always worth mentioning our core is everything except our arms, legs, and head. So right now, we're twisting through our spine, we're turning our pelvis, we're turning our head and neck, so we're addressing a lot of different core musculature. All right, and then we'll come back to the center, walk your feet back in again. Let's bring the arms straight up, bend your elbows a little bit, and let's circle our fingers around, making a circle on the ceiling. And then reverse it. And then we'll separate our hands and we'll extend and flex through our wrists, making a fist, straightening your fist out. And then we'll make a light fist and we'll circle around in both directions with our wrists. And then we'll open up our fingers nice and wide and we'll flex and extend once again. All right, relax your arms down. Now we turn over. We're coming up onto our hands and knees next. So, if you're like me, you may want your folded towel underneath your knees for some extra padding. So place that if you need it. You can either be on your knees and fists or on your knees and palms. Neutral spine right now as you breathe. So that means your neck is in line with the rest of your back. Now we'll change that a little bit. So on your next inhale, lift your tailbone, and then as you exhale, tuck your tailbone under. And then we'll do it again. Feel what's happening in your low back and your abdomen. So if you're having any difficulty keeping your palms flat here, maybe coming up on your fists is a better option for you. See which one feels better. Do the same with both hands though. Either you're on both of your fists or you're on both of your palms. A couple more of these. Inhaling, tailbone up. Exhaling, tailbone tucks under. Now let's come into child's pose. Most people find this version suitable with your forehead resting on your fists and your hips just slightly back. But if you're able to go further back, you can bring your big toes together and sit further back. And you can even drop your head down further. You can even drop it all the way down. Every time you arrive in a new position for our practice today, think about how it feels to breathe deeply in that new position. So how does it feel right now in your child's pose? Just notice. Now we're rising back up onto our fists or our hands and knees. Find neutral again. See how your breathing feels now that you're back here. Let's work with our legs. The right leg stretches out behind. You can hook your toes under and press your heel back. And then the left leg. So we're alternating. Tuck your toes under, push your heel back gently. Feel the calf stretch. So maybe we exhale into the calf stretch. And then we inhale to come down. Let's try to keep breathing as if we still had our hands around our ribs. Now, different this time. If you're capable of doing this without too much discomfort or lack of balance, see if you can stretch your legs straight out at the height of your hip, and then we'll switch. So it's okay to keep your toes down. That's what you'll do if you're not feeling comfortable here for any reason. But otherwise, push the heel away, push the heel away. Now let's add our opposite fingers walking forward and then sliding back. So remember, you can do the option with toes and fingers down. Also, you can try this option, toes up and arm up too. If you're doing that version, your thumb is facing up and your arm goes next to your ear if you can get it there. See if you can keep your back neutral and straight. Try not to round. Sometimes it helps if you can see yourself in a mirror while you're doing some of these moves. Now let's reach our arm and leg, whether the toes are down or up or some combination thereof, and we'll just hold here and continue to breathe. And then we'll switch sides. Make sure you're not collapsing down into your shoulder or your low back. Reach out. Keep breathing. All right, and then we'll come down. Let's go back to your version of child's pose, whatever that looks like. And then check in with your breathing. Do you notice your breath has to find different space to expand into? Because we've taken away some of our belly space by being in child's pose. Find different space, maybe back into your side ribs, maybe into your back ribs. Okay, next we're going to do forearm plank with our knees down. So you may want to fold your mat over so you have extra padding for your elbows. You might need the extra padding for your knees, but if you don't, move this extra padding forward. Either way, I'm going to do it without extra padding for my elbows. So we place our elbows down, and we move our knees back, and we drop our hips down until we're in a straight line. And again, this is one of those positions where you may need to see yourself do it in front of a mirror to confirm that you're actually not rounding or collapsing your back. So this is rounding and this is collapsing. So see if you can do neither of those. Keep pushing the ground away with your knees and your elbows and forearms. Make sure your breath is continuous. Okay, now hand down, the other hand down, and we'll sit back into our child's pose once again. Remember, this is a good option if you don't want to sit all the way back. You can also find a different resting pose, like maybe lying straight down on your stomach or lying on your side. Just find a resting pose that works for you. If child's pose is not your thing, that's okay. Now we'll return to our forearm plank. This time you'll have the option of straightening one or maybe both knees. So let's stretch out once again. Elbows down, body in a straight line. So establish the kneeling version first. And then here's your option. Tuck one set of toes under and straighten your knee on that side. So we took away some of our support from our knee. And then bend that knee, flatten the top of your foot out. Let's try the other side, straighten the other leg. Can you feel your core muscles working? I sure can. Now bring both knees down, tuck both sets of toes under, and come on up if this is right for you. If it's not, keep one or both knees down. Are you still maintaining your straight, neutral alignment? From the crown of your head through your knees or through your heels. One straight line. All right, bring your knees down if they're not already, and then we'll walk ourselves back with our hands or our elbows. Take a little rest. Go ahead and come out of your resting pose. Now we need some extra padding for our elbow and forearm. So again, if you want to fold your mat over, that's fine. So come into this side lying position with your elbow under your shoulder. The fist of your bottom hand, your bottom arm, is facing straight out this way. That puts your shoulder in a safe position. And then you want ear, shoulder, and hip all in one straight line. Now your top hand can be here, your top hand can be here, your top hand can be here. That goes from easiest to slightly harder to slightly harder. Okay, so you decide. Now here's the exercise. Make your hips lighter and lighter and lighter until they eventually lift up. And we'll stay here. If you need to bring your hips down, you can. You can just keep making them lighter. But if you're able to keep them lifted, make sure you do that. Two more breaths. All right, then we'll come down. Now, let's go to the opposite side so we can still see one another. Line yourself up with elbow under shoulder, ear, shoulder, and hip all in one straight line, and then you find your arm position, and here we are. Try not to turn toward the floor with your chest. Keep facing toward me with your chest. Stay strong. Everything is drawn in and up through your abdomen, your back ribs, your shoulder blades. They're down, stabilizing. All right, let's come down. Now we'll switch sides. If you want to turn your back to me when you change sides this next time, feel free to do that now that you have a good idea of what we're doing. This time you have the option of keeping your knee bent or straightening your top leg out. All right, ready? Here we go. Hold right here. So we're strengthening our hips, we're strengthening our waist muscles, our abdominals, our back muscles, our shoulder girdle muscles, our chest, some of our upper back muscles, our neck. So many things are getting strong right now. Keep breathing your way through this. One more breath. And then come down. Turn your back to me if you want. Otherwise, change sides this way. All right, when you're ready, lift up. Optional arm and leg lifting. Remember, your arm can be down, your leg can be down. So work hard here. Keep it reasonable, but hard work is okay when you're trying to get stronger. As long as you're not feeling pain, maybe you're feeling some fatigue. That's okay too. Reach out away from your center. Even if you don't have your arm and leg extended like I do, keep reaching out away from your center. All right, and then we're coming down. Let's move back into a resting pose. What about flat down like this? Stacking your hands and resting your forehead this way. How does that feel for you? All right, now we're pushing ourselves up to our hands and knees. You probably won't need your extra padding for now. Take one foot down carefully, coming into a forward fold here. Bend your knees, hands on your shins, lift about halfway up and hold here. Shoulders away from ears. Once again, there's that neutral, straight spine. Take your time now, hands to your hip creases, slowly hinging up, keeping your knees soft. all the way up to standing. All right, turn to face me, I'll face you. Mountain pose. All right, now we'll do some side bending. So inhale, right hand on your hip. Exhale, reach up and over. And then we'll switch. Now you can keep your elbow bent. Which one feels better for your shoulder? Bent or straighter with your elbow? Now we'll add something to this as well. We'll push the hips out, keeping the knees straight. Let's come back to the center now. Roll your shoulders. Standing in mountain pose, inhale, hands on your thighs. Exhale, sit into chair pose. And we'll do that again. A couple more. Now you can make your hands lighter on your thighs so they're not supporting you as much. And what that does is it requires your back muscles to support you more. Notice how the knees are not going very far forward. Now if you're able to do this with one arm forward, one hand on your thigh, that's where we're going next. Now let's try to do one where we're not supporting, if that's right for you, just here. And we'll stay here. The heels are heavier than the toes. Pull your shoulder blades back. Keep breathing. All right, and then hands on the legs and stand all the way up. Roll your shoulders back and down. Let's take the hands behind us like we're putting our hands deep down into our back pockets. And then draw your elbows back into a big chest stretch. Stay here and breathe. All right, let's release. Inhale. Exhale, look over one shoulder and wrap your arms around. And then back to center as you inhale. Let's go to the other side. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Coming to the center now. Arms down to your sides. Press your arms way down and then drop your ear to your shoulder on one side. And then come back to center, ear to shoulder on the other side. And come back to center and roll your shoulders. Now let's take one arm across the body this way. Shoulder down on the right side. Feel that stretch in your upper arm, your shoulder area. And then we'll switch. Let's release that. Roll your shoulders up, and back, and down, and one more time. All right, so how did you do? Were you able to hold those forearm planks? Were you able to pick up one or both of your knees? Were you able to extend one arm or one leg? If not, it's okay. just keep practicing this type of strengthening. It will help you get stronger. So thanks for joining me, and until next time, be well.